One, would you say you are a seasoned? Blah 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 blah.
I would say I'm a novice somewhere,
Okay.
somewhere there. Definitely above apprentice, that's for sure.
As someone.
Do you guys want to close the door too? We're rolling?
We're live?
Okay.
What are you guys doing? Where's the 3, 2, 1? What's going on here? Are we actually live? Oh my god. Oh shoot, now okay. Well, welcome to Yap Inc. With me today is my host, or no host, sorry, my guest, Owen. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not too shabby. I would like to bring up a topic that we were talking about a week ago called bushcrafting.
Sure.
Now, would you say that where in the tier level would you say you are with your mastery of bushcrafting?
Like skill?
Yeah.
I would say I'm somewhere around novice or advanced. Definitely above beginner or apprentice, that's for sure.
Right. Then I'm probably like below apprentice, whatever that is. So as a person who wants to get into bushcrafting, like what is usually the gear that you bring with you?
The gear, well, there's a lot of different stuff you can bring. It really depends on what you're out there for, but most essential is definitely you need a fixed blade with no moving parts that you can beat up. And I actually talk about this pretty extensively in the video if you guys want to bring that up right now.
It's video package time. Alright, so welcome to the video segment of this wonderful live stream. I've decided to dub this section, What's in My Kit, where I go over some of the essentials I bring when I go out in the wilderness. So for starters, we have my tools, my absolutely disgusting cast iron pan, which I'll come back to, as well as some more practical essentials, like everybody should have a first aid kit no matter what you're doing out in the wilderness, especially if you've got blades with you like this one. It's important to be safe. This is my fire jar, which I've actually never had to use. It's kind of like an emergency thing, where if I'm out in the woods either alone or with people, it's just nice to know I do have dry tinder I can rely on, though I haven't had to use that yet. Another important practical thing, get yourself a headlamp. These are invaluable, especially at night, obviously. Random loose rags that you're not afraid to get dirty. As you can see, these are filthy despite being washed multiple times. This is a biodegradable rope, or hemp or whatever, because I don't really like using paracord, because there might be a day where I never take everything down, and I'd rather not leave stuff that could harm the environment. Last but not least is my preferred method of ignition, creating sparks for fires. This is my ferrocerium rod, or ferro rod for short. It's like a modern cousin of flint and steel. Also, carabiners. Everybody needs a set of carabiners in their life. It's not a proper camping trip without a big ass pot to cook whatever the hell you want in. I find a lot of our meals we make out there is just a bunch of shit you put in a big pot and you let it boil. But if you don't want to make room for a huge pot, you can get away with the cast iron, like I mentioned prior, my disgusting one that I got at Cabela's. For the love of God, make sure you have some sort of heat protector that you can grab it with. At the very least, be knowledgeable and use just a rag or something, because this shit gets to like 1,000,000 degrees if you just let it sit on the fire, especially if you use birch wood like we do, which burns really hot. Last but not least is, I'll show you this one first. This is my set of absolutely foul, just horrible mugs. Here's the fun one. So these can be used for a lot of different things. Making tea is the big one. When we're out there, I do really like to put stems of pine needles in water and let it steep or boil or whatever, and then just drink it. It's got a very mellow flavor to it. And this one, this mug right here is my wax melting mug, which is why it is so unbelievably horrendous to look at. A fun thing to do, a fun challenge honestly, is I like to make torches when we're out there, so I'll melt wax in this guy, pour it on some of this stuff actually, wrapped around a stick, and see how long it'll burn. It's always a good pastime. That's pretty much my kit. Now I can go over and explain what some of these, the specifics of some of these tools, I guess. All right, you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm doing this upside down. This is my fixed blade belt knife. This is an essential for any bushcrafter and even camper to have a fixed blade with a full tang. Less moving parts the better, because the rougher you can be with it. I use this for batoning wood all the time, and just there's so many uses for a knife, it's absolutely insane. So if you're into this kind of thing, get yourself a knife like this that you can just put on your belt. I think I got this for like $7 on sale at Sierra, and it hasn't exploded yet, so that is a really good sign. On to my second most used tool. This is an antique hatchet I got at I think it was a rummage sale or something, I don't remember. But I made this, I forgot what it's called, this thing for it out of duct tape that is miraculously still holding. I love this hatchet. It's got so much character and a lot of weight to it, and it just feels good to hold despite the condition that it's in, and it just kind of gets the job done. You don't particularly need a hatchet. You can get away with doing a lot with just a knife, but it's just nice to have. By extension, this is kind of I don't know, I guess I have mixed feelings on machetes. I can't think of exactly what it's called, but this is useful for just stripping small sticks off of branches. Do not cut live trees unless you absolutely have to, in which case this is pretty useful for that. So otherwise, there's really not much use for a machete. And on mine, at least mine specifically, these teeth are just useless, and I wish they weren't there. So you really don't need a machete. Especially if you're going hiking, you should not pack one of these. I only take this to private land to bushcraft, and even then it only gets so much use. Now finally, time for the unsung hero of the bushcrafter's kit, is the folding saw. This thing will take your breath away, but it is so nice. It's so much better than just sitting there and hacking up a log for an hour, which I have done before and I do not recommend. This simplifies so many camp tasks regarding processing wood and just cleaning up wood in general. These are so handy, and I recommend to splurge and get a nice one. So there's not really much else to say. It's just a saw, but my God, is it nice to have. There is so much stuff on the market and so many things you can bring out bushcrafting or camping or even hiking that if I were to cover everything I can think of, this video would be like 2 hours long. And I do have a lot of that stuff. Like I have a hammock right here that's really nice. I've got a military camel pack water bladder, which is really, really nice. But at the end of the day, lighter is always better, both for storage and because at the end of the day, you're gonna be tired and you wanna leave as quickly as possible. So it's nice to just pack light and have less to worry about. Hope this was useful and it gave you some sort of insight into what I pack. Back to the stream.
Okay, wow. That was a lengthy video you did right there. A lot of gear. Is that all the gear you take, or you take more?
It really depends. You know, I always preach to pack as light as possible and then end up packing my pack to the brim. And I mean, lighter is better, but I would say that's kind of the essentials plus a little bit extra, at least for me.
All right. And speaking of gear, let's go ahead and do our quick ad here. Today's episode is brought to you by REI Co-op, the place for all your outdoor adventures. Whether you're going on a weekend-long hiking trip, camping in the mountains, or trekking through Death Valley, REI has you all covered with their top-of-the-line gear, from their Radiant 20 sleeping bags that keeps you warm at night, to their sleeping tents that they have refined over the last 45 years, making setup easy. Use discount REI.NWTC20 for 20% off your first order. Again, use NWTC20 for 20% off your first order at rei.com. REI not just sells gear, but a lifetime of adventures and memories. So start your journey today.
I
Alright.
really wish that discount worked.
I wish it did too. Yeah. But anyways, I saw that your hatchet had this duct tape on it. What's the story behind that?
I needed a sheath, and I didn't have one. I didn't want to buy one, so I made one, not expecting it to last as long as it has. And here's hoping it doesn't rip apart in my hand.
Hopefully. So when you go bushcrafting, how far out do you go? Like, how far into the woods do you go?
That also depends. Currently, I only really have access to 2 places, and they're both through a friend of mine. And the main one we go to is his grandparents' property, which is about, I think, 2.5 acres or so.
Okay.
It's a pretty small place, but if I had access to a bigger place, I would go as far as I can.
So you can't just go onto any public wooden area and then just trek like 5-10 miles in.
In the U.S., no, because the U.S. has really frustrating laws for camping. And, I understand why fire building specifically has such strict laws around it. But it's just frustrating when there's so much beautiful nature that can be experienced here by responsible hikers.
Man.
I heard that in Scotland they have really, really free laws regarding that. And I would have to fact check this, but I heard that people can go anywhere they want and have fires and stay wherever they want, even on private land, which is just really cool.
A beautiful place, to visit,
Yeah,
to bushcraft in.
absolutely.
But yeah, when you go bushcrafting, do you usually come across animals at all, or do you carry? I saw that you didn't carry. Looks like you didn't carry like bear spray or any kind of weapon on you at all. You're not afraid when you're bushcrafting that some kind of animal might come by and try to kind of mess with you a little bit.
Nah.
No, especially not there.
I mean, you have to go pretty far north in Wisconsin to run into bears. I would say the only possible threat I can think of is like
a coyote, something like that.
honestly not even like
Not even a coyote. So like a
maybe
squirrel?
maybe a badger, but I think they mostly stay away from you. Maybe if you're really unlucky, like a buck during the rut, but I haven't experienced that yet. As
No.
for other animals, it's mostly at night. We did an overnight trip where I almost died, and I was I was wide awake at 3 a.m. in a hammock looking up at like the sky, and it was just black all around me. But I heard owls, I heard coyotes. I think it's coyotes, I don't know for sure, but
It probably is coyotes.
some sort of mammal in like a circle around us, just a big pack of them howling, and that was an incredible experience. I also learned that deer huff at each other when they're mad, which is just really cool. I'm not from the country, so I had no idea.
So probably not deer then, right? Probably like a coyote or something that's been circling around your camp.
Some pack animal, yeah.
All right. So is it usually just you that's bushcrafting, or do you have like a buddy with you? Extra someone to talk to, someone, in case something happens.
I'm kind of weird. I would love to go solo, and I think I'd be totally fine. But I do rely on my best friend when we go because it's his. Like my connection is through him to that place that we go.
Okay.
But if I did have access, I would go solo sometimes, and of course invite people like him as well.
Well, that's really good to hear. Oh man. So if I was, since I'm a below, novice wannabe bushcrafter, what is your top 3 that you would suggest to me that I would absolutely bring if I was to go bushcrafting?
Like gear or tools or what specifically?
Anything. It could be literally anything. Like just top 3 things. Like that you can't leave without.
Bandages / like some sort of little health kit. Water. You never have enough water, no matter how much you bring. It's not enough. And a knife. That's really all you need, aside from what you want to start a fire with.
Okay, so I'm assuming there's like different levels of how primitive you can go with bushcrafting. So would you say with all your gear and stuff, you're a little bit like you're like a little bit more, I guess, above primitive,
I'm like,
or like just I don't really know I don't really know how to word that one. That was kind of weird for me. But do you get what I'm trying to say here?
yeah, I'm like a step above caveman is kind of where I think of myself. I like to go as bare as possible, like bare minimum. I don't care for luxuries or glamping, as people say, like with their trailers or whatever. I just like to bring as little as I can and just make do with what God gives me.
Are you usually out there, like how many days out of the week are you usually out there?
I would kill to go on a multi-day trip, but due to how complicated the life of a full-time student at this glorious campus can be, it tends to be day trips, though we have done an overnight or two.
What about in the summer when school isn't, or do you take summer classes too?
I don't take summer classes, but summer is usually filled with working on skits and personal projects.
Oh, okay. So
So-
you don't really got time to bushcraft, I guess.
I mean, it's something you have to make time for, but trips like that, there's just so much to plan for. And like in our friend group, I am the de facto planner. I'm the dad of the friend group. I have to coordinate everything.
I mean, kind of look like a dad too.
I look exactly like my dad.
Yeah. There you go. Already there. Anyways, bushcrafting sounds like a really fun thing to do.
Hell yeah.
And if I ever get the chance, I probably would do it. Probably need some help. Maybe get some more advice from you.
Sure. I mean, I would even love to go with you if that's possible in the future. It's a wonderful hobby, and I think everybody should experience it at least once. And you can do it for dirt cheap too. The biggest problem is just finding a place you can go to.
True. Like anywhere in the States, you can't just go into the middle of the woods. Like anywhere in the States, like Texas, you can't just do that.
I mean, I'm not up to date with like my rules and regulations, but I'm sure you can do that in national parks, assuming you follow the rules. I know through Wisconsin is an awesome. There's an organization called the Ice Age Trail Alliance that takes care of this just beautiful scenic trail that goes all through Wisconsin. I wish I knew off the top of my head how many miles it was, but it's hella long. And there are some camping spots along that I've always meant to backpack to,
Yeah,
but
dude,
I've never been able to.
that must be so nice to sit underneath the stars or just sleep underneath the stars with no city lights, and you just look up, especially at night, you just see all the stars and all these animals going at it. Like it just brings, like I can imagine myself right now just doing it and just listening to
Yeah.
all these animals going at it, and it's just so calm.
It's fulfilling. There's not many other things I've found that brings me peace the same way that this hobby does.
Right. And then what would you usually, what? I didn't see that you brought bug repellent for the mosquitoes and stuff. None of that?
Oh, I just completely forgot. Yeah.
Oh, you
Um,
you completely forgot
it's
about that.
I mean, in Wisconsin, it's a crucial for summers and spring, but
Right.
honestly, as tough as it is, winter is kind of my favorite time to go because I just absolutely hate bugs.
Right. I saw that with a couple of those clips that you were playing. Most
Mhm.
of it was in winter, so I guess bugs, ticks, and stuff
Yeah.
isn't really a big thing. But then the weather you would have to then take into effect. Are you like, doesn't that mean you usually have more gear for winter and stuff, like a thermal sleeping bag?
If you were doing an overnight, definitely.
Definitely.
Because the killer of winter is finding where you sleep, and staying warm and dry. You don't really have that problem in summer.
Right. Dang. I don't know. I want to bushcraft in the summer. I want to bushcraft in the summer, but there are so many bugs around, dude. Like, there's no way I'm
Yeah.
gonna be walking in next, I'm like ticks all over.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then, like, in the wintertime too, oh my god, it's so cold. I don't know how you guys would do it, especially if it's like super chilly. I guess you would like prep ahead of time,
I
like
mean,
for a day where it's not as chilly. But
fall is a fantastic time of year for beginners too.
oh yeah,
But yeah,
Beautiful
no, in
colors.
summer you need bug spray or you will die.
Oh,
You will
yeah.
die. And one thing I talked about in the video, of course, for us it was muted, so you couldn't hear it. But one thing I talked about was I dabble in torch making when I'm out there,
Ooh.
and that is also a great way of keeping bugs away.
Torch making.
Yeah.
How would you usually make a torch then? Or
So-
explain the process to me how you would make a torch.
All right, so I've got this mug, right? This disgusting fucking mug that I showed in the video that's just caked in like black stuff. And it's disgusting because I use it to melt wax.
Okay.
So if you just let it sit by the fire for long enough for the wax cubes, like I just get wax cubes from, I don't know, any retailer.
Oh, so you're not going out in the forest and looking for wax? None of that?
I wish I knew how to make wax, but I don't. I know somebody whose family has like a bee honey farm, and they sell candles and also cubes of beeswax. And I did make candles from beeswax once, while using a mold that I made out of like a log. They fell apart, but it was really cool.
Okay.
And I'm being told that we're running out of time.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you for coming and sharing your stories and all your gear and stuff about bushcrafting. And I hope that we can pick this up after this podcast.
Of course, I
Yeah,
really enjoyed
thank
this.
you everybody for watching. If you guys have any questions about bushcrafting, he is the guy to go to, unless you are better than him or whatever, by all means. And I hope everyone has a good day.